square dancing, mountain square dancing, been going on for, Lord, since the 30s. And I guess the number one tune that people liked the best in mountain square dancing was a tune called Down Yonder. It was written by Wolf Green in 1921. And you've heard it on everything from a Lawrence Welk show on down. But for mountain square dancing and clogging, everybody loved Down Yonder. But now we done 20 or 30, 40 more songs, but they would ask for Down Yonder. And the old tune was pretty simple, but it had a good beat to it, and it went kind of like this.
Apparently dances have been going on here forever. They were just back into the...
Somebody named the Johnson Brothers started it, or maybe back.
Well, if you go back to when they started here, if you read the old paper they had, her great-grandfather was an Episcopal minister here, and he's the one that started the square dance.
Folk dancing in Saluda, and this was 1938. And they would start out with circle left, everybody shouts the caller, and the hilarious crowd moved spiritedly to do his bidding, and the banjos strum, the lights are brightened, and the square dance is underway. And they used to have lessons twice a week for square dances, and this was back pre-40s. This was published in 38, and they'd have. And the men could go to the dances, and they had to pay 50 cents, but ladies were free.
I lived here all my life, and as Hilda said, we went to the pavilion and learned how to square dance. And we had several different things there in the pavilion for kids, you know. And then I started coming over here, well, when I was a teenager.
It was the music that was so wonderful, because it was not electric music at that time.
And then another one they liked would be Under the Double Eagle.
My earliest knowledge of square dancing was that the gym here was used on Fridays, and they had a dance. I was a youngster and too young to dance. Wasn't sure. I wanted to know how. But we had another building in town where they had a kids square dance. And when you outgrew that, then you were ready to come over here and be a part of the big dance.
That old library had a library upstairs, and then they had a place downstairs where you could have dances. And Mrs. Gertrude Kirk, and Jane Hallman decided to start dances so the little ones, meaning us, could learn how to dance. And that's when I remember we would be visiting the Hallmans, and Mother would say, start taking your clothes off so you can get dressed fast for the square dance.
They had a pavilion up here where the pavilion is now. It was an enclosed pavilion, and that's where they had the square dances on Friday night for the little kids.
But it was real shabby and about to fall in, but hey.
My mama said I started dancing when I was 2 years old. I don't remember that, but I do remember square dancing in that pavilion every Friday night during the summer.
There were no windows except where you would lift up the wooden slats and hang them from the sides, and the music was on a record player, the 78 RPMs.
On Friday night, we didn't have a band. We had a jukebox down at the pavilion.
And we would play games up there, and Fred Aiken was such a card. He loved to be in charge, and he was funny, and he would play, what was the song? What's that game when you have to stop? Red light, green light. We'd play red light, green light, and then we'd play musical chairs, where they'd take a chair out every time, and the music stopped. And the music stopped, you had to find a seat, and whoever didn't find one was out. You know, and all you did was win, and maybe you got to lead off the next dance or something like that. It was just such innocent fun.
The dancing was just part of life back then, and I'm sorry that it went by the wayside.
And the bands, I mean, the Bob Ponder band came, Buddy Davis band came, I mean, that was the music back then.
And 2 or 3 guys could clog, and they'd have these cloggers on their shoes. I know Ray, one of those Johnson boys. I can't remember him, but he loved to clog.
Throw the wildwood flower in if you had the right beat.
I started school in 1942. So, I asked a lady, knowing I was coming here today, what the first recollection she could give, and she went to school here too. And she gave me a name, and I asked her to write it down for me. His name was Lionel Wrightson. He was the first caller in the 1930s. And that's as far back as I've been able to trace the beginning of the dances.
Bob Johnson was the caller that was here regular when I started dancing here, and then Bob took it up, and but those two, Bob Whitaker and Bob Johnson, were the two that I learned to dance under.
It was just a lot of fun, and it's just something you look forward to doing. It was not in competition with football games or anything, because we had in the summer when school was out and before school started back. That's when the square dances were held. And
square dancing was different here in Saluda. You go to jump off a mountain in Hendersonville. They would have a few different moves, go down to Lake Lure.
But with all that said, we still was the granddaddy. We pulled the biggest crowd of any of them consistently.
I didn't even go to school here. I went to school in Hendersonville. And you just dance with the people you grew up with. My favorite was to dance with Lloyd Thompson. He was a huge man, tall, big man. But he had a lot of rhythm. And I loved to dance with him and my dad.
They was a couple that led the square dances here for me for years. They called him Bear Moore, as his nickname, him and his wife. And they led the square dances, every one of them. But Bear was a dead serious person, and he wanted that square dance run just like an army marching. It's like when we'd say big ring and let's go left, he wanted that ring absolutely perfect. He didn't want no zigzagging in and out.
The circle was so big it would take up the whole floor. And you'd swing your corner lady all the way around, and it'd take about 10 minutes to get around the circle.
Well, start out big ring, go left. Then halfway back. Then right hand, no, breaking, hold on.
You could holler big ring and let's go left. Well, the ring would start around, well, they'd run it in and run it out and zigzag it around, you know, just laughing, having a big time.
I love dancing with the mountain men.
They knew how to dance, and they could really swing you. Woo.
Then when you swang the girl that you wanted to dance with the next dance, you hoped you got to her so you could ask her, you know.
Okay, would always start out big ring, go left. Halfway back, you go the other way. Then you may swing your corner lady all the way around. So you swing every girl around that. And then you get back to your partner and you promenade.
Well, going around in a circle and doing all the different moves and learning the shoe fly swing. Do you know what the shoe fly swing is?
I don't love nobody, nobody don't love me. Always sitting fancy free. I don't love nobody, nobody don't love me. I don't love nobody, nobody don't love me.
Then break into two couples everybody holding hands, and then you do the right hand over, left chains. Do the double Georgia. That was another big. That was a biggie.
And then the bunny hop was big. Y'all know what the bunny hop is? Lord, we'd have to play it. I've seen them all the way around this thing 3 or 4 times a night.
Bob Whitaker, he played the music. He usually had the bands.
Bobby Whitaker?
He wasn't, he was cute.
Gorgeous.
I was nervous, and I looked at some, and I'd see who they danced with, and I'd kind of compare myself to them, you know, and try to make them think I was more than just another pretty face and that they ought to dance with me, and they'd say yes.
It was awfully hot in the gymnasium. Sweat would pour off you when you square danced. Everybody was soaking wet, even the girls. But nobody seemed to care. And between sets of dances, people would go outside and sit on those rock steps by the school to try to cool off. Now, that was the only private moment you had with those girls, if you were a local. Because their mothers or fathers or aunts or grandmothers, somebody was hovering around to make sure there was no contamination of the seeds. Okay?
Now down yonder, someone beckons to me. Down yonder, looking for Robert. Right over, how you doing? Our left hand, how are you? Swing that, on the leg. All right, yeah. Now you're a honey baby. On you go, big ring. Let's do it again.
Oh, break and swing your corner lady and promenade. Everybody promenades around in a circle. Then you break into fours, which is 2 couples, and you hold hands, and you go right, then left, halfway back, right hands over, left chains, ladies step through, and little boys too, you do a little.
For some reason in the late 60s, it kind of died out for some reason. I think it was because neither the Lions Club or the fire department was interested enough to keep them going.
Well, you say, why did I quit? Everybody's got a story. In 1985, that was the last year I run them, my wife and son got killed in a plane crash. I was standing there waiting for the next ride. It was right up here at this little airport in Hendersonville. And it crashed on takeoff, and there wasn't nobody around there but me. It caught on fire when it crashed. I got the pilot and the 9-year-old boy out, but I couldn't get to my wife and son. They was on the other side, and it was a ball of fire. And I was single about 4 years, and my wife now, Linda, was from up Lake Toxaway, and her husband had passed away, and she was managing DuPont Credit Union, which I was working there too. So about a year later, like a long story short, her husband had passed away. Then her brother had got killed on a front end loader. We all got stories. But then me and her got married, and we've been married, what, 26 years? Mm-hmm. And then after everything calmed down, the principal over there called me and wanted to do some more because they was getting a percent of it for the athletic program. And we run some part-time for a couple of years. But then, on top of that, to show you how square dancing is not feasible anymore, down here in Columbus, North Carolina, here in Polk County, they begged us to go down there in that old gym and try to bring square dancing back. Stern's Gym there in Columbus. We went down there and tried it for 3 or 4 months. Well, you couldn't get nobody. It's just a lost art, and the young people don't want to learn it.
And that's where the fan disappeared.
Saturday night we went to the gym. That was the highlight of the whole thing. I mean, all summer long, you just couldn't wait for Friday night and Saturday night to go square dances. And you didn't plan nothing else them 2 nights. I mean, it was that much fun. I loved it. Still love the square dancing.
So I can change my mind, and it won't matter if I'm wrong. Show me a place where I don't.
Just had fond memories of dancing with pretty girls.
And swear